Hello beautiful people and welcome to the channel Life After Narc. My name's Debbie and I talk about all things to do with narcissistic, abusive and toxic relationships as well as healing from them. Today's topic is the narcissistic fog. We're going to have a look at what it is and how it affects you. Before I get into the detail, if you enjoy the content, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and please share with your friends and family, anybody who you think may benefit from this. So, have you heard of the phrase narcissistic fog and wondered what on earth is it? What on earth does it mean? And I like to liken it to the menopause fog. In other words, when you are in menopause, as I am at the moment, your brain seems to shut down. You're confused. You don't really know who you are, where you are. But let me tell you something, go on to HRT. It helps wonders. But the narcissistic fog is different in ways. The word fog stands for fear, obligation, and guilt. And these three emotions come together to create this fog within you. And you don't know who you are. You lose sight of your own identity. You become this confused being. You're being controlled. You're being manipulated. The narcissist is making sure you do exactly what they want you to do. You won't know if you're Arthur or Martha. You won't know if you're up or down, left or right. And these three things are quite insidious. So let's have a look at the fear part, first of all, of this fog. And this could start early on in the relationship. But you forgive them because you love them and it's the beginning of the relationship and they made a mistake. Let's say, for example, early in the relationship, they got drunk one evening and they then tried to rape you and strangle you and hurt you in some way. And you kicked them out, you called the police, whatever you did to get rid of them. But then they come crawling back and they tell you they won't do it again. It was a mistake. They're sorry. And because you're an empath, you take them back because you believe them. You believe that they're not going to do this again, that they're going to be the person that they were at the beginning when they were love bombing you. And don't forget, the love bombing can last for a few months, a few weeks, a few days, or even a few years. But the devaluation starts, and this is when the fear starts to come in. What is the narcissist going to do next? What action are they going to take? It's caused by the constant gaslighting that they do, this confusion that you have, and you feel obliged to do things for them because of this gaslighting. They will make you feel inadequate. They will make you feel not enough. I'm not saying they make you feel. These are the reactions that you have to their abuse. Because of this mental manipulation, because of the way they speak to you, the way they hide things from you, you start to feel obliged to do certain things for them. They may ask you, for example, to give them a lift to work if their car's broken. And you feel obliged to do so, even though perhaps somebody lives down the road who works with them and could easily give them a lift, but you love them and you'll do it. You feel obliged, perhaps you've made them a cup of tea, you've made it wrong, they don't like it, so you go and make them another cup. Or you've put a topping onto their toast that they don't particularly like or want, so you go and make more toast. They could well sit there and ask you, oh, go and get me a beer, go and get me this, go and get me that from the kitchen while you're sat there watching a program, but you're the one that has to get up and go and do this. And I've seen this happen in relationships with older people, people from older generations. I'm Gen X. So people probably from not necessarily the baby boomer era, but the generation before that that was born in or just at the end of World War II. And this stems from the way that we were brought up as children. So if you think back to earlier generations and earlier peoples, the man was the breadwinner and they brought the money into the house and the woman was the housewife and she had to do everything. She was the one that was obliged to this person. Times have changed. Times have changed, and we need to start educating ourselves about these people and about the toxic behavior that they have learned from their family. As I say, through all of this, you begin to feel confused. You're thinking, what on earth is going on? What, and it starts slowly and it builds up over time. Your body starts to create the fear through the love bombing and devaluation phase. The brain releases certain hormones such as cortisol, oxytocin, adrenaline, and dopamine. And all of these chemicals you become addicted to. They're quite strong chemicals. And your body becomes addicted to this cycle of love bombing, where you've got the oxytocin coming out, and devaluation, where you have the adrenaline coming out, the fear. So how does the guilt come into this? Well, this is when you start to feel guilty about things that you have done or haven't done. Perhaps you've done something wrong. Perhaps you broke something. It was an accident. You didn't mean to do it, but the narcissist comes home and finds that it's broken and they have a narcissistic rage, temper tantrum fit. Or you've forgotten to do something and the guilt is there, and you don't forget the fear's coming in here. So you're waiting for them to get home from work and to then tell them, look, I forgot to do this today, I'm sorry. And they'll give you this sort of look, that eye roll look, that side eye look, that, yeah, you're not doing well, girl. You're being a bad girl, naughty girl. And I just want to say that I realize there's quite a few men watching my channel at the moment, in fact, slightly more than women. And I do want to say that this goes for women too. Women's behavior will also create narcissistic fog within a man. So this does apply to you as well. As an example of fog, I'm going to go through one of my own experiences. My father was very ill. Some of you know this already, and I was traveling backwards and forwards to care for him. He had wanted to pass away at home, so that was the decision that the family made. And my partner at the time had said to me, my husband at the time had said to me, yes, go, you need to be there. But I could tell over time that he resented this because I was spending more and more time with my family than with him. And this was over a Christmas period as well. And I had no choice. I wanted to spend my father's last few days with him, as most people would. And most people have a partner who understands that and supports them. So I would start to come home from my few days away, and I'd be driving off of the motorway, and I would get butterflies and think, I don't want to go home. I'm afraid of going home. Nobody should be afraid of going to their own home, their own sanctuary, their own little piece of heaven where they feel safe. But I didn't feel safe. I felt overlooked. I felt used. I was abused. I just felt obliged to be here rather than there. And the guilt kicked in from that. The guilt that I wasn't being here. I wasn't able to be the wife that I was supposed to be. I wasn't here for Christmas. Which made no difference anyway, because he was actually working over Christmas Day. But I had chosen to spend my dad's last Christmas with him. Is that so wrong? Should I feel guilty for that? No, and neither should you. Whatever form of guilt you are feeling, it's not natural, it's not real, and it's being forced upon you by the manipulation, the control, and the constant gaslighting of the narcissist. The cycle continues. It doesn't stop. How can you combat this? Leave. I'm not joking. Leave if you can. I know some of you can't, and my heart goes out to you in that situation, and I hope that someday you find a way to leave that terrible, toxic place that you're in. But you shouldn't feel guilty for not doing something, whether it was by accident or perhaps. Now, also remember, when you're in the narcissistic relationship, this fog is actually causing mental illness. So you are finding that you are becoming mentally ill, which has an effect on the body, and the body starts to become physically ill. But this mental illness causes you to feel guilt if you haven't done something, and you may feel what I call the overwhelm, where There are so many things to do and you are feeling so depressed, so ill. You can't get out of bed. You can't function properly. So you don't do housework or you don't go shopping. And the narcissist gets home and you feel this immense guilt. And the days that you do the things that you were supposed to, you'll probably say, look, I did this today, waiting for praise. And they'll say, oh, thank you for doing that for me. For me. Think about that for a second. You're doing it for them, not for you, but for them. That's what they think. You are their supply. So I've been doing healing work on myself around this issue, and I can now see where a lot of this gaslighting, a lot of the fear, and a lot of the obligation comes from. And now if I want to leave the dishes in an evening for 2 or 3 days, I do. And I don't feel guilty about it anymore because I'm on my own. And I can do it in my time when I want to. If I want to sit and watch videos all day that are to do with healing, that are to do with trauma, that are to do with well-being and health, then I'll do that because I'm fixing me. The message from the narcissist was clear. You are my slave. That's it. That's all you are. You are fulfilling a purpose for them. You are their supply. And as soon as they've had enough, as soon as you've given everything you can to them, they will leave. I'd love to know how you've been affected by the narcissistic fog and what you've experienced around it. I can say it does get easier. The healing from this abuse does get easier over time. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of devotion to that work and to yourself, to find yourself again and to love yourself and to know that you are enough. If you have gotten out of this horrible, insidious relationship, well done. If you're still stuck in this relationship, I hope that one day you are able to escape. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.